All right, welcome to episode number 2 of the Views from the 906 podcast. I'm Dylan Hemela, and today I'm joined by my co-host Mike J. Williams
How you doing?
and Justin Riley.
What's up?
So the first thing we want to get into is shout out Zach Savala, his wife and their family. She has an illness right now as she's pregnant that makes her vomit anything she eats or drinks, and they've been traveling all over trying to figure out what's happening with this. So we're gonna have a GoFundMe link below. It's their GoFundMe. People have already donated. It's gonna be in all the descriptions anywhere you can find the podcast. So anything you can help out, that'd be greatly appreciated. Shout out to Zach. We love you, buddy, and we hope it gets well soon. All right, now we're gonna move in. We're gonna start out hot with the NFL. We'll start with the Packers. Mike, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers over the weekend?
They played an absolute dumpster fire that is known as the Oakland Raiders. Um,
I mean, the Raiders didn't look bad though. They got a
I
nice
think it was more Green Bay just being good.
exactly. I mean,
I don't.
Oakland has a nice little offense where they can just chip away, chip away. You know, they hit their short throws, and if it wasn't for Carr fumbling into the end zone and giving the Packers the ball, that game was a little bit closer. But Aaron puts points on the board every drive, so you just can't
You
have
got to
those
keep
mistakes.
up with them.
I don't know, man. I don't think the Raiders are anything like special at all. Like they're just a mediocre offense.
Of course, but they were playing well if you take away a couple mistakes. But again, you
Right.
can't have those against a team like Green Bay.
It's still impressive to score 6 touchdowns against them.
And it's even more impressive knowing that like top out of the top three receivers, one of them is out, and the other two are like banged up pretty severely. But you wouldn't have guessed it with like MVS's 2 catches for what, like 130 something yards or
Yeah.
some shit like that.
Yeah, their receiving core is so thin. They got like 3 undrafted free agents in that lineup. And, you know, imagine when they get Devontae Adams back, they're going to be a problem. And the Chiefs right now, they got the Chiefs next, so they're not sure if Patty Mahomes is going to play. I would
It's a
hope
dub.
not, obviously. But their defense isn't that great, so Aaron should have just another great day against them.
Just another normal day for A-Rod.
How about those Lions? They are who we thought they were.
They are who I thought they were. I was never under any I wasn't
They had high
drinking the
hopes this
Kool-Aid.
year. They had high hopes.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's only
It's not
2,
over.
3 and 1. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
over, but it's what I thought. I thought they'd go like 7 and 9. That's what they're going to end up.
I mean, when you got the Packers and Vikings playing as well as they're playing now, you can't be losing games if you want to make the playoffs.
No.
You know, you're starting to fall
No.
behind, and sooner or later, it's just going to be too late.
Plus
Yeah,
now
they
that
just
like Kirk Cousins is just he's a new man.
he turned it
He's-
on.
And that's
Yeah.
incredible. You know how much
He
pressure
actually
he
shown
had on
some
him?
signs of life.
Pressure from everybody, the team's calling him out a little bit, or, so they say. His receivers are calling him out. People in the media are calling him out, and he shows up and he balls the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's
He's the
just
second
amazing.
best quarterback in NFC North now.
I'm dying though because I have Adam Thielen on my fantasy team.
Is he out long term?
I don't know if he's out long term, but it really sucked
What a
for me this
catch
week.
he had. He had a nasty catch.
That
Is that
was
the play he
sick.
got hurt on? I didn't really follow that game too closely. Did he get
I
hurt
didn't
on?
see him
tell ya.
after that.
Because he caught the touchdown and like fell hard into like, I don't know why that barrier is so close to the end zone, but he
Yeah,
fell
that's so
hard
dumb.
into it. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully he comes back, because if you think about it, that offense with Dalvin Cook, and you have Diggs and Thielen and Rudolph at tight end, like, Kirk doesn't have to be good. He just has to be decent enough to get the job done. He doesn't have to be
Something
crazy.
something about that game I noticed was Detroit's defense and their run defense especially is actually pretty good. Dalvin Cook is a fucking beast because he did what he wanted, man. I mean, he literally ran wherever he wanted. The offensive line sometimes didn't do him any favors, and he still just ate up our defensive line. Did what he want. It was
He's been doing
crazy.
that. He's been doing that all year.
I didn't know he was that good.
Yeah, he's nuts. And again, the Lions are who we thought they were. They had a chance to be in the game, but
Yeah.
if you're going to be that team, you just got to start winning games. Maybe you got fucked over by the refs against Green Bay. I seen
No.
people, bitching about calls in this game too, but at the end of the day, you just got to start winning games if you're going to compete
That whole ref thing is going to be the narrative to
forever.
like for this entire season.
Yeah.
For every
If a
team, if they lose.
Yeah, for every team. every losing team, like, they're always gonna have at least 45 seconds to bitch about the refs in, like, every post-game interview that they ever do.
Which we all know a ref isn't gonna single-handedly decide the game. Even when
Right.
the Saints lost last year in the NFC Championship, you know,
They were still they
you
still had
can't
a
put
chance. Yeah.
yeah, you can't put it all on them. Of course, it was bad, but
That one
so
call did not put them in the Super Bowl. It wasn't just that one play.
yeah, exactly. Then the Bears, they're just in. I don't know what they're gonna do here. Mitch is their guy. They drafted the guy that they wanted. Deshaun Watson came out of that draft. Patrick Mahomes came out of that draft, but they got Mitch Trubisky, the guy that they wanted. Do you pull the plug now or do you just wait? I don't know.
He
Might be
hasn't I
another
don't oh, man.
another Tim Couch scenario.
Remember though, he was a Pro Bowler last year.
That's what I mean. He didn't look that bad last year. I mean, I you got to give him at least this year. I mean, Christ, you have to, I don't know what he just looked off, man. His throws were off. His mechanics even looked off. I don't know what the problem was. I don't know. I didn't watch that game like super close, but from what I did see, he just looked off in general.
Does he have some sort of injury right now, like a shoulder injury?
He
He's
messed up
playing
his
through
shoulder.
something,
It
right?
was his it's his left shoulder though. It's not his throwing shoulder. So yeah, maybe it hurts, but he was missing like blatantly easy throws.
Yeah.
And it could be the scheme too. People are blaming, Nagy and the offensive coordinator and stuff. I don't know. I
But they
just
were there
know
last year.
But it's
I
another
know.
first-year head coach type of deal too, right? Isn't
No,
Nagy
they were
pretty
there
No,
new?
last
he
year.
was there last year.
So a second-year head coach
You
and a
shouldn't be
second-year
taking steps
quarterback.
back at this point. You
But they
Right.
were
lost on
11-5
True.
last year, right?
you lost on the double doink, but they also started 3-3 last year, I believe too. So season's not over, but you just got to get things right. You shouldn't be taking steps backwards.
No.
You have a Super Bowl caliber defense.
Yes.
Just a little mid-season slump is all.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, but again, when the Packers and Vikings are playing as good as they are, you got to heat up. There's no time to wait.
No, because
So
if you let Green Bay get too far ahead and you're never, you won't be able to catch them.
so do you keep seeing the Packers in Chicago to play for the North, or this year is it gonna be switched up and Minnesota's gonna be in there?
It's Minnesota. For
As
sure,
of right now,
Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah, they're playing great.
You think that, like, right now, what is your prediction for the NFC
The
North, 1
Packers
and
win the
2?
NFC North.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Who's
absolutely.
number
Yeah,
2, though?
the
Well,
Vikings.
yeah, I would say the Vikings right now. I don't know. It's tough. If Mitch heats up and he can start making the easy throws he has to make, maybe the Bears, just because of their defense, that defense can win you games. You just need a quarterback that can get the job done and put points on the board.
Yep.
If I feel like every time I watch them, they're stuck at 10 points for three quarters.
It
There's
does seem
there's
like
a
that.
small part of me that just wants to be, like, a wild card and say that the Lions might be 2nd in the NFC North by the end of the
Hey,
season.
Yeah, good
hey,
luck with
they
that.
could.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly, good luck with that, but logically, it tells me that it's probably gonna be Minnesota.
Yeah, if you're just talking
They're
like on paper and how they're playing right now, Minnesota's a strong team.
You look at all the studs
De-
they have on offense, and then not to
defensively
mention
too.
exactly, I feel like their defense is kinda
Underrated.
underrated. Nobody talks about them.
Yeah, I agree. They they were struggling when Kirk was struggling, but again, if he just gets the job done, they win ball games. Same thing with Mitch Trubisky or whoever they're going to put in there. If they do, they just got to be good enough to get the job done. That's it. You don't have
For
to
the
be
amount of
Aaron
money that he
Rodgers.
gets paid, he better get it done.
And hopefully Thielen comes back. I don't know. It's so much in the air, but I know one thing for sure: if the injuries stay away from Green Bay, they're taking the North. They have to.
Oh, for
Easily.
sure.
With that defense, they got a solid run game now, and Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Last time they had a top 10 defense in the league was in 2010, and they won the Super Bowl that year. Now they're back in that category, so we'll see what happens.
I said if they get
How do you guys like them if they get to the playoffs? How do you guys like them against like a healthy New Orleans or San Francisco?
I was
a healthy
listening.
New Orleans,
Yeah.
so no Bridgewater,
No, Drew Brees.
hmm, doesn't matter. He's still, like,
It depends
he's still
where.
gonna play hurt.
It depends where. So if New Orleans keeps winning with Teddy until Drew Brees comes back, and they keep their record solid, and Green Bay has to go to New Orleans, that's a tough game. But if New Orleans and Drew Brees have to come to Green Bay, I'm taking Green Bay in that one.
Oh,
It all
yeah.
depends where you have to play. So these
So
games matter.
say they get a divisional game at home. You like them against anybody in the NFC?
Anybody in the NFC, absolutely. I mean, like people like the Seahawks are going to be tough. They're going to be tough games, but I think in Lambeau, if you have a healthy squad, Green Bay's taking that.
That place is in Lambeau Field is insane loud.
And in playoff weather, you're gonna,
Right.
potential
Yeah, that's
snow.
December,
You're asking
January,
Drew Brees
whatever.
to to go from dome to Lambeau Field and freeze his fucking fingers off. I don't know.
Freeze his thumb off.
That's probably for the best.
Maybe
Probably for the best.
maybe that'll do more harm than good, or maybe more good than harm.
Yeah, it might help him out. He probably needs to put some ice on that thumb.
Exactly.
just the just the way the Packers are playing, I can't see anybody beat them right now. I don't know.
Even the running game for the Green Bay is getting solid, man. That's usually not a
Exactly.
strong suit for them, but right now it's opening
They're
up.
killing it.
Every year at the beginning of the season, I always say one thing: Packers are going to win the Super Bowl. And I've been right once, so that's all it really takes.
I've been right once.
So let's see if you're right again. I don't know. I think they got a good shot. Talking about somebody who doesn't have a good shot at winning anything big this year, Michigan football.
Oh my god.
What do you guys think about that?
Somebody want to go first, or should I get into this?
Just tear it apart.
Just go for it.
Okay, so we're okay. First of all, so did you guys watch the game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they looked like total ass in that first quarter. Like that's just what I come to expect now from this team. But they showed some heart and they came back. And so everybody wants to talk about that last play, the kid dropping the ball. If you're a Michigan fan and you tweet or do send any hate to that kid, he's a kid on our own team. You're a piece of shit. You're not a real Michigan football fan. Like anybody saying anything negative to that kid, like turn in your maize and blue because you're not you're a piece of shit. If
You're
you're a grown
fired.
man, if you're a grown man and you're talking shit to Ronnie Bell, you are a piece of shit. That kid had a great game. He had one unfortunate drop. Leave the kid alone.
What's crazy is the expectations, which are warranted. You have Jim Harbaugh. You believe in him and the recruits he can bring in, and he believes in Shea Patterson with all his heart. You think every year that they're going to progress and be better the next year, and constantly it just seems like all the big Michigan fans are just let down, and it's sad because what do you do?
There's
What do you do?
it,
Do you get rid of Harbaugh? I don't know. I mean, I think it's time to cut the plug, but who do you get? What sucks is in
it's
college football, you can't just go get like a Matt LaFleur who's like an offensive genius. You have to get somebody with a name to get recruits to play. You can't just pick up
honestly
anybody.
honestly, it has a lot. I think it has a lot to do with their offensive play calling. I don't like Gaddis. I think that if they brought somebody else who has a little bit more imagination in, they'd be better off because their offense is so predictable. Like if you watch that game, you're like, okay, here's what they're gonna do here, and they did it. They ran. They got themselves in third and long situations, and they made Shea make some throws that he couldn't make. But then towards the end of the game, he actually was making some really good throws. I was pretty impressed towards the end there. I don't know if you guys felt the same way,
I
but he
just
looked good.
it really I don't know. It goes back to this. In college football, you just have to win the games. You have to. And when you got teams like Ohio State, Wisconsin, I mean Wisconsin lost sure, but
Ooh, yeah.
it's I mean, you can't lose these big games and it seems like I forget what the record is. I think he's like 1 in 10 or something against top
He's
10.
like 1 and 9.
Yeah, just something ridiculous. Like you have to win these games if you want to keep your job because it's Michigan football. That's a big time program. That's not just Joe Schmo program.
When they played Penn State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of those games that for years have been a giant game for both schools. So just like the whole jacked up mentality that both those teams had, and apparently Penn State had a much more hype team than about the game than Michigan because Michigan got crushed, didn't they?
Well, it ended up losing by a touchdown. They had a chance to tie it up with like a minute left, but the kid I was just talking about dropped the tying pass in the end zone.
But it was just they shouldn't have, it was just too ugly to start with.
Well, they should have never got down 21-0 to
Exactly.
begin
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
But
But it's tough.
like Penn State's good. They're ranked number 7. I mean, that would have been a good win, especially on the road.
Who's their other loss against this year?
Wisconsin killed
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But you got to think, dude.
Yeah.
Last year we beat Penn State 45-7.
Yeah.
What happened in between then and now?
I don't know, man. It sucks to see because people, pull so hard for Michigan, especially where we're from. People love Michigan football. And it seems like every year for the past decade, they've just been let down over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I don't know if Jim Harbaugh can get it done. You got to bring in somebody that can, give you some results.
How much longer do you give him? I want to hear you guys. Would you give
I
him at
I
least?
give
Would
him
you give
till
him next year?
I give him till the end of this season. And if you show some
Okay,
promise, like you're not gonna make it far, obviously now. Most likely you're not gonna do anything big. Maybe if you can go and get into a bigger type bowl game and win it, then sure, stick around. But I don't know. I think
okay.
they've
So
stuck with him too long.
he's not going to beat Ohio State this year. So I mean, he can win the rest of his games. So say he goes 4-1, 3-1, whatever it's going to be, and he wins the bowl game. Do you keep him for next year?
It's so tough because obviously that's still a decent season, but the expectations are so high there. I don't know. I really have no idea because
Oh yeah,
I don't know who you replace him with
expectations are way bigger than playing in the fucking Outback Bowl.
every year.
Yeah,
So I don't know. It's
it sucks. I wanted him to be the guy.
and
He's so perfect for that
on
job.
paper and thinking about it, he should be. He's the Michigan guy,
He's perfect for that job.
but it's just not working out. I don't know. Maybe it's not his fault. Maybe he needs a little more time. I mean, how long has he been
Well,
there? He's been there for at least 4 years, right?
yeah, we got him in 2015. But listen, man, he's got a chance to shut us all the fuck up this week. He's got Notre Dame at Michigan, the big game, the night game,
Yep.
Yeah.
Saturday night game. They're ranked in the top 10. If he can win that game and look impressive, I mean, we could do something.
Could be putting our could you guys could be putting your foot in your mouth type of deal.
And then who knows? They always play Ohio State, sort of. Well, I don't
Yeah,
think they're going to
that
beat
can
them,
be
but they
almost a
could,
toss up. You never know with that game. I just
depending on
don't
where
know,
it is,
man.
especially.
It's just you want results out of Michigan football. Whatever it takes to
Yeah,
get you there. There's no time anymore.
comes down to winning games.
There's no like how many years are you going to say, "All right, we'll give you another chance. We'll see you next year." How many times can you do that? I just don't know. I think they've done it a lot already. Maybe you give him a good 5, 6 years in there just to test like, we gave him his fair shot.
But if you look before we got him, our record was ass, dude. Like they were just talking about this. Like people are putting such high expectations on him.
Yeah.
It's
That's
kind
true
of
too.
unfair. It's almost unfair because his record the last 4 years he's been there has been like one of the best in the country. Like Michigan football's had the better record they've had and like blah blah blah. Like the record's good. It's just that people have such high
Of
expectations with him
course.
coaching this team that it's just kind of unfair to him and the kids. But I mean I get it. I get it.
But it's also college football. If you win one game, you could be out. Or I'm sorry, if you
Yep.
lose one game, you could be out. If you lost 2 games, we'll see you against Florida in the Outback Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just the way college football works. It's not about, "Hey, you've been doing okay, you've been doing all right." You have to be doing great.
Especially with Michigan being in Michigan.
But that's a fair point from you though. So I think maybe you give him a couple more years and just see, nobody's going to come in and turn it around overnight. That's the
There's not one coach
expectation.
I can think of that can come in and make Michigan get to the college football playoff next year. I don't.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
not one coach.
And I feel like that's kind of what Michigan's tried to do the past few coaches, just try to get an immediate turnaround.
Yeah, and maybe the expectations are too high just because he's Jim Harbaugh.
They got one his first year there. If they would have fucked up that punt against Michigan State, they would have been
Yeah.
playing in the college football playoff. And then if
Well,
they
I'm
would have
saying
got to that 4th and 1 spot against Ohio State, they would have had an undefeated season that year. I mean,
I'm saying like they were
So
trying that
close.
they've been trying all this stuff with like Rich Rod and Brady Hoke and shit like that. And it just hasn't happened
yeah, that's
until now. So they know that they're hoping that that season wasn't just a flash in the pan type scenario, and I think they should probably give him some extra time as well.
I think so too. They're
That's
so
fair.
close, man.
That's
They're so
fair.
close. They're close.
So moving on, another big event over the weekend was UFC Boston. Starting with Yair Rodriguez versus Stevens. I think that was just a big, kind of the new school versus old school type thing. Yair is obviously a killer, got the nasty strikes. He can kick you from anywhere. Stevens more of that just, just that brawl. He's
Marauder.
just a scrapper. He's not going to be flashy with it. He's just going to try and knock your head off. So I don't know. I kind of saw it going the way it did. Yair was looking great in that first
What a
round.
fight.
I thought they should have stopped it. I
Yeah,
kept
I was
saying,
waiting.
Same.
That first round could have been a 10-7, dude. He was like on the cusp of getting stopped for the last 3 minutes of that round.
In the second round, Yair was just beating the piss out of him for like 2
Was it the
minutes.
first round or the
I
second
think it was
round?
the second. He was just beating the piss out of him for at least 2 minutes straight, and the ref was just kind of chilling, just gave him all the opportunity in the world, which is great for the fans because
Good on Jeremy for doing just enough to
exactly.
not get it stopped.
Which I don't. They kept saying he's doing it, he's fighting back, but he really wasn't. His face was just
No,
getting bashed in,
No, he was just
I
moving
th-
just enough.
just like holding on to Yair's leg, and like sure, I don't know.
maybe
That was
unless
crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised if like the ref was talked to beforehand and say, listen, unless one of these dudes is clearly knocked the fuck out, just let it go.
And
Considering
they should give him a
what
chance
happened
to
in
fight.
Mexico City.
Exactly.
No, they gave him every chance
Yep.
to. Yeah, he had
That's
every chance possible.
that's the last fight you want an early stoppage in. That's a great point.
Yep.
After what happened, you don't want an early stoppage in that. And
Mm.
I'm glad he didn't stop it because
No, it was an amazing fight.
Jeremy came back out and put the beating on him a little bit.
It's fight of the year potential. If that would have been a main event 5 rounder, Jeremy Stevens would have
Jeremy
won, no
Stevens would have won the
question.
fight. I said the same
I can't
exact
believe
thing.
that was a unanimous decision. I thought that was a little closer. I thought that was like a split
It was,
decision.
yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I thought it
split,
could
but
have been
it was
split.
close.
I know. It was just
The only reason it wasn't split is because of how fucking bad
The
that second
first-
round was.
or
I think
yeah,
most
the
of
second-
the judges probably had that at 10-8.
yeah.
No, it was like it was like I saw it somewhere because don't they show the judges' scorecards or at least one of them? They had it
Sometimes,
10
maybe
9, 10
afterward, yeah.
9, like 9 10.
There's no those judges are blind if nobody had that at 10-8. Am I wrong on that one, Hamala?
Well, I mean, he was taking. I don't know. It could have been a 10-9. It should have been a 10-8, but you never know with these with the judges. You have
Exactly.
no clue. He was taking a beating for the last like 2 minutes of that round, though.
Close to getting it stopped.
Yeah, exactly. So to me that's a 10-8, and that's probably what easily gave him the unanimous decision. But it ended up being a good fight. So
He had a
So how
small
about-
he had a small comeback at like towards the end of the
exactly.
second though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked fine. So where does each guy go from here?
Well, to me, Jeremy Stevens will always be the guy that Connor clowned. Who the fuck is that guy? He'll always be that guy. He's gonna be the Donald Cerrone. You're not putting a belt on that guy. You're calling him up when you need a main event in fucking Nebraska and you want a banger on the card. That's who you're calling.
He's not to be trifled with, man. Because
No.
Josh Emmett will tell you he still can't taste food because of Jeremy Stevens.
That's what I'm saying. You want that guy when you need a main event somewhere in fucking North Dakota. You're calling Jeremy Stevens. He's not gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be a title contender anyway. Maybe, you never know. It's just
No.
like 1 or 2 knockouts away. But to me, he's like the Donald Cowboy Cerrone. You're gonna call him up when
Yep.
you need a big main event, and that's that. For Yair, the sky's the limit for him.
What's the fight?
Yeah.
I don't know who the fight is, but he has a
It's-
good shot against just about anybody in that division.
If Zabit can beat if Zabit wins his next fight, I think you put those two together, and winner of that gets the winner of Max and Volkanovski.
That was a former matchup, right? Like they were gonna make that.
Yeah,
him
but
and Zabit.
somebody got hurt. Yeah,
Well, that was when Yair got like kicked out of the UFC for a couple weeks. I think
Yeah.
he was turning down the Zabit fight for some reason, whether it was
He didn't
injury or
want it.
whatever.
it wasn't
And
him;
then-
it was his management.
Yeah, and then Dana said, "You know what? Screw it." But that's a really good fight.
That's a great fight.
Who do you have in that fight if that happens?
Yeah, Zabit.
Yeah, I think so too. Yair's a
Zabit's
stud.
he's too good. He's too good of a grappler.
Yeah, he's too good at everything.
Everything exactly. The hormone monster. What do you guys think about the main event? Quick
Short
is
and
right.
sweet. Short and
I felt
sweet.
I hated every second of it, man. I hated it so much.
I love Chris Weidman so much, man.
Me too.
It's so hard to watch. And it's been happening. I think that's like his 5th knockout loss in the past.
He has
out of
no
6.
chin. His chin is gone.
Yeah.
He got
No,
knocked
it's-
out with a backwards swinging hammer fist.
He's got to hang him up.
It's just tough because you love him,
Ah,
but that's another
hurts
like
to say
old school versus new school type thing. Reyes he's one of those new school type of guys, and it gave me a lot of respect for John Jones because John Jones wipes the floor with that guy, I think. And
Both of them.
and he takes care of Weidman like that. That gives me a lot more respect for John Jones because I thought Weidman had a chance to be a contender and potentially fight John Jones.
So did I.
I don't know.
But I thought that about Rockhold too, and Rockhold suffered the same fate.
both of them, yep. And Jones
They just
Jones took a shot at him on Instagram too.
That was low. I don't think you should ever talk shit about somebody who just got knocked out.
I mean, they were both talking some heavy shit. At least Luke was talking some heavy shit about John Jones. Saying
Oh, you're
he
talking
has-
about Luke. I thought Weidman. Never
Well,
mind.
no,
Yeah.
both.
Luke.
Jones talked
can
about
get it.
both of them, but Luke was talking that good shit before, so he at least deserves it.
Luke
Because-
deserves everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he brings it on himself.
So, and John made the point like, "Hey, beat my contenders and then talk some shit," but you can't do that yet. So,
I don't know, man. Just the chins after you be around that long, you're in that many wars, the chin goes. You can't take the
Yeah.
same shots.
Well, look at that's not necessarily true. Look at Frankie Edgar.
He
He
well, I
got
has the
mean,
knocked
most
out by
minute.
Brian Ortega.
well, yeah,
He
that
got
that
knocked out.
But
I only
Ortega
watched.
knocked him out with an uppercut.
I watched two. Was that on this past card?
No, no, no. That wasn't just
no,
now. That was like about. It was within this year though.
but also that I mean that's such a lighter weight too. When you're talking about light heavyweights, when you don't have a chin at light heavyweight, you're fucked because they're swinging
Yeah,
for the fences. You're not,
exactly. You have to be able to take a couple punches at that weight.
yeah. I don't. It's just I really hate to see it.
It's sad.
I love Weidman. I love coming out to Tom Petty. The whole
Oh, that's the
thing
best, man.
the whole thing is just great, man, and it breaks my heart every time he loses and gets knocked out.
It's even harder to see because he's literally been ahead. He's been winning all what is it, 5 fights now he's lost? He's been ahead all 5 of these fights that he's lost.
Yeah, he just gets caught.
I hate it. He's been winning every fucking fight, man. It's just so frustrating to watch.
Where does he go next? Do you want him to retire, or what do you do with him?
I think you just use him for like fun matchups now. You could he's got a couple left in him. You probably throw him. I don't know who's like a good name. Who's like a big name like around that weight. Like that's fun.
I
I
mean,
don't
him and
know.
Rockhold could fight, honestly, at
There you
light
go.
heavyweight.
There you go. There's a good one.
Battle of
So,
the
so,
glass jaws, but
something like that.
who can fuck who can break each other's jaw first?
I don't even know who else. I
I
mean,
don't think he
somebody like
retires.
Rockhold.
He doesn't I don't think he wants to retire. I don't see him retiring, but as a fan, I kind of wish he would cuz I don't want to see him lose again, man.
Well, he didn't sound like he was even thinking
Yeah.
retirement because he said, "I'll be back better than ever." I'm like, oh,
Well,
that's
of
okay.
course you're going
I
to,
hope so, but
of course I think you would say that every time, but
He kind of looked like doo doo too. Like he did not. Like he didn't. He didn't look like he was in very good shape.
well, moving up a weight class too, you never know how they're going to, how they're going to come in. Are they going to come in a little bloated? Are they going to come in looking lean? But he looks so stiff, man. And then at this new age of MMA where everyone's loose and throwing these kicks and shit, he's just really tight. He's a wrestler. I don't know what you do with him, man. Because he's not. I don't think there's no way he beats John Jones. There's no possible way.
no,
So
no.
what do you know?
John Jones is too geeked up off like Viagra
I
and
mean,
cocaine
he's
to lose.
Cokehead Jones is just gonna mop the floor with him.
Reyes has no shot against Jones
You
either.
don't think so?
No,
I think that's a fun
I,
fight, but you're probably
it's a
right.
fun fight, but like Jones is he's too good. Reyes is okay, like he's good, but did you watch him fight Vulcan?
I don't
He
remember.
he he just watching that fight, like it didn't seem to me that he's got the like technical skills to beat John. Like John, I think John could just first of all get him to the ground fairly easily, and then he could just do what
John
he wanted
doesn't
with
do
him.
that though, man. When he fights somebody, he wants to show
But
off his
he
fucking
hasn't
paws.
lately. He hasn't, but you saw what he did to Gustafson.
Yeah,
Gustafson's way better than Reyes.
yeah. So
You know who I
who can
want to
beat
see
Jones?
fight?
Wait, go ahead, Mike.
Who could beat Jones?
Yeah, who can beat Jones?
I have no idea. That's my question. Who can?
Israel
Maybe at
Adesanya.
heavyweight.
Adesanya's not touching John Jones. John Jones,
No,
he
too
couldn't hold
small.
John Jones's fucking jockstrap.
Too
Nah, dude.
small.
The last style bender will shred him.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just
it's
there's really nobody right now. I don't know. Unless he goes to heavyweight, then things change a little bit.
right. Heavyweight's different, but at light heavyweight, nobody's touching John.
What were you gonna say, Mike? About you had a question about something?
No, it was me talking about Israel Adesanya
Oh,
shredding John Jones.
yeah. I just don't see that happening. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless
I
he
guess it'd be
unless he
cool.
bulks up and like makes a commitment to do it, which I don't realize. I don't see why he would.
He
There's
shouldn't.
no
That'd be a
point.
bad idea.
Exactly.
That's the
The
money fight, though.
Jets Patriots game just went final 33-0. I don't know if you guys saw.
Oh, big shocker in the sporting world today.
Yep.
See that on the
Fucking
ticker at
Anything
ESPN.
anything else from that card, you guys? Oh, I gotta say one thing. How bad I feel so bad for James Vick, even though he's kind of a talky, like cocky person. Like he's been knocked out what 4 of the last 5
That
now.
wasn't this card, was it?
Was it?
That
That
was
wasn't.
last weekend
Was it?
where he got up kicked.
Oh, okay. I don't. Yeah,
But
'cause
either
they
way,
Who the hell
still,
is James Vick?
he's a
this guy from
lightweight.
yeah.
But
Got
he's been
yeah.
getting knocked out in like these brutal ways, man.
Nico Price up kicked him in the face, man. That was so bad.
And yeah, he's another one that just he doesn't have a chin anymore.
Yeah, it just goes, man. Once you pop that cork, it's gone.
You know who ruined him?
Who was it?
Justin Gaethje.
Yes. Yep. That's where it started.
Ruined forever.
That's true. That's very true.
Speaking of Justin Gaethje, nothing booked for him right now. I don't think. What do you think happens? Does he have a? Do you think he could beat Khabib?
Khabib. I think it'd be
Mm.
interesting. For sure. I mean, if Khabib gets him up against the fence, I think he could just do that bullshit. Grind him against the fence for like 5 rounds. But I think he's probably the most interesting person other than Tony.
I think so too. I mean, not that's not a matchup that's going to happen anytime soon, but he's just a no bullshit type of guy. He's going to come forward that entire time. Plus, he has wrestling, a really good wrestling background that we haven't even
Great
seen yet.
wrestling.
He doesn't even show it. That's how much of a savage this guy is.
Doesn't
So
have to.
you don't know what it's going to be like against Khabib if it gets to that point. But I guess we'll see. I have a lot of respect for that guy, man. He just comes in and
Me
bangs.
too. I'll
I
watch
don't know
every
if
fight that
Khabib
he's in.
loses
I don't
ever.
either. Oh,
Another
guys, hey, we have this weekend we have Maya Askren. We'll talk about it obviously next week. But do you guys have any predictions?
I don't
I
what
don't even know who she's fighting, so I have zero predictions.
what's
I don't know half these people you're talking about, honestly.
It's okay. We'll do this quick. Hemley, you got any
uh
predictions on that?
I'm gonna make it quick. I'll say Askren wins. It's gonna be interesting though, just because obviously Maya is a genius on the ground. So I don't know, but I think Askren wins that.
You think he gets it done? How does
Yeah,
he get it done? Decision?
just a brutal like ground and pound type of scenario. Controls him the whole time.
What's her name?
I
No, it's Ben Askren versus Damian Maya.
see.
Ben
I've been
Eat
going
My
back and
Askren?
Yeah, Ben Askren.
I've been going back and forth on this one. At first, I was all Damian Maya is going to submit him, but just like recently, like even today, I'm like, okay, now if I had to put money on it, I think Askren gets it done too. I don't know why, but I think he
He
gets it
has
done
to.
decision.
His back is against the wall. If he wants to do anything in that
Bad.
division, he has to win this fight.
Yep,
And
I
you
agree.
know he wants that loss against Masvidal back. You know he wants to run that
Bad.
back and take a little shot at the belt eventually maybe. But this is the one you have to win. Maya's on the back door. He's on his way out. He's just trying to get another victory or two. He's not a guy that's gonna make any like waves in the welterweight division.
Is anything
I
announced
agree.
on Diaz Masvidal?
It's
That's
happening, man.
Have
UFC
you guys seen that
244.
card? I can't pull it up right now, but like that card is stacked. November
Hold on,
2nd, that card
I can pull it
is
up right now. 2 seconds.
stacked.
One sec.
You got Nate Masvidal at the top, obviously. Who's the co-main in that fight?
I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
Oh, I should
Kelvin
know.
Kevin
Gastelum,
Yeah,
Darren
Gastelum?
Till,
Gastelum Till is
Yeah.
on that. Stephen
Steven
Thompson is on
Thompson,
that
Luque,
card.
Derek Lewis, Kevin Lee, Gillespie.
Derek Lewis headlined Madison Square Garden last year, and he's back on it.
This card is straight fire
Plus Kevin Lee, like, I mean,
against
take my
the
money.
Fisherman.
Take my money.
Yeah, exactly. Take my money. Who's on the
Derek
prelims
Lewis,
of
his
this one?
balls are gonna get hot.
It doesn't even
Oh
matter.
shit, dude. Oh shit. On the prelims, you have Corey Anderson and Johnny Walker.
Is he 100%? Has he fought since he messed up his shoulder?
No, this. I mean, if he wins this, he's getting a title shot.
Do you? I mean, man, you think it's
Andre
too?
Arlovsky on the early prelims,
You got the legend Arlovsky.
fighting on the fucking
I
UFC
mean, that's
Fight
what
Pass.
happens, bro. You stick around too long, you're going from main events to prelims. We've seen
That's
this many a
sad.
times.
But it just goes to show you though how deep this card is.
Just crazy.
We'll talk about that one. I don't want to talk too much about this one because we're going to talk a lot about that when it comes up.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing on that card that just happened was the Greg Hardy inhaler
Oh yeah,
incident. What do you think about that?
Mike, did you see that?
No, tell me about it.
Okay, so Greg Hardy is fighting this guy. It's actually a pretty good fight. Hardy's actually moving around. He looks good. The crowd is booing it because he's not like marauding forward like an idiot and just throwing bombs. He's actually like fighting like he looks good, right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, between like the second and third round, Hardy's like, hey, he asks the commissioner because there's always a commissioner standing right next to you, next to each guy. He's like, hey, can I use my inhaler? The guy's like, what? He's like, oh yeah, we talked it over. It's USADA approved. And the guy's like, okay, yeah, I guess if you approved it with USADA or whatever. So Hardy hits his fucking inhaler in between rounds, and yeah, they let him do it. So he did it, and they ruled the fight a no contest. Obviously, you can't take a fucking inhaler in between rounds.
Right.
So it's a
That's
big thing. It's a big thing now because the dummy who was in the ring with him from the commission told him he could do it.
Oh, they told him he could do it in the ring, like while it was going on.
Yeah, in the octagon, he's like, "Can I
Oh,
do this?" And he's like, "Go ahead."
I was under the impression they had asked ahead of time.
They said they did, but either way, when he was in the octagon, he asked the guy. If you watch the replay, like
Yeah.
watch the whole thing, That's what he's talking to the guy about.
What's crazy, Luke Thomas brought up a good point is to us it seems like obviously you can't take an inhaler, but
I think he should be able to.
if
If
you
he
look
has asthma, let him.
exactly, if you look deeper, like what kind of advantages does somebody have if they're fighting a guy with fucking asthma?
None.
Y No, I'm saying, like, if you're fighting a guy who has asthma and you don't, and he can't take his fucking inhaler, that's a clear advantage.
But does he
Right.
really have
If
asthma?
he does, yeah. If anything, it evens the playing field.
Exactly. So I think they kinda gotta look into that a little deeper just to make sure you wanna make it a fair playing field. Obviously, you don't wanna give people an advantage, but at the same
Right.
time, you wanna get him to that, that neutral level where he can perform at his best.
Just like the other guy.
Exactly.
I don't think they should have like overturned the fight. I think
What
that
if
was
your
Well, I
bad.
think
cardio
I
just sucks and you're having a hard time catching your breath?
exactly,
Well,
that's the
that's the thing.
problem.
That's the problem.
You'd have to get it cleared ahead of time and stuff. I don't know. I think it's a good thing they ruled it a no contest just 'cause it's kinda blurred right now, like, they didn't really know what the hell was going on, he just kinda did it, whether he asked or whatever, it's where the sport's not ready for that, for that to be implemented yet, so
The
It's
weird thing
like
though is his corner. Dean Thomas was his corner man. If anybody should have known not to do that, it's him, man. That guy's been around so much. Like I'm
who gave it
surprised
to him?
Dean Thomas had it in his pocket.
Just whips it out, says, "Here, bud, take a hit of this."
It was so weird, man. I've never seen anything like it.
You feeling a little exhausted after that second round? Take a couple puffs of this. Got some
But
vitamins
it,
for
but
you.
but it, but
like
it
you
is a
can't
known it is a known thing that he's had asthma though. Like he did this in NFL too.
if you have asthma, you probably shouldn't be using the inhaler while fighting unless you're having like an actual asthma attack.
I mean, whatever
You
he
know,
thought was gonna give him an advantage or make him feel better, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't have asthma, so I don't really know, I guess, what he's going
me
through,
neither.
but
I call bullshit. I say keep your
cheater,
inhaler out of the fucking octagon.
cheater.
Well, that's what they're saying. Yeah,
He's a cheater, he's a liar, a fucking thief, robbing the
it just
fans of a
Can't be
win and
trusted.
loss.
Well, what sucks for
it
him
just
is because he's Greg
it
Hardy,
sucks.
bro.
Yeah, because it's him. Yeah,
Yeah. So I have mixed feelings on the guy. Obviously, he's got a rough history, but
Is that
it just
that
keeps
is
stacking up. He's the
is
guy
he
who
Lil Evil?
no, he like beat the shit out
that's
of his
Jens
girlfriend
Pulver.
when he was in the
Oh
NFL.
yeah.
He beat the shit out of his girlfriend or wife, whoever it was at the time. Got kicked out of the
Oh,
NFL. UFC
He played for
signed
the
him.
Cowboys,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So
Now
defensive
I know who you're
lineman.
you
talking about.
can't
Yep, I
really
know who
root
you're
for the
talking about.
guy, but he's not helping him. He's not doing himself any favors. He had a no contest or disqualification earlier too in one of his first fights for an illegal
Through
strike,
a
I
knee.
believe. Yeah. So he's just not helping himself in these things. Like I wish he would have came in.
That's why it
You're
sucks.
completely clean. You change your life around. You fight clean. You do everything the right way, and you take care of business. Win or loss, whatever. You do it the right way. Let people get a better perception of you as a person. Try to clear up that past. But instead, there's all this controversy around it, like almost a couple of his fights now. So, and he's only had about 4 or 5, maybe. So that's a large percentage of fights where you have some sort of controversy. Is he a shithole fucking shitbag after all? I don't know.
I bet you after that fight he just went home and beat the shit out of his
All
wife.
right.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, that's all. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Or maybe we won't. No longer on Apple
Yeah, I
Podcasts.
don't
Shout out to Mike.
Well,
I
that's
don't-
what he got
it's-
kicked
you
out
guys-
for, isn't it?
it's-
Didn't you just say that, like domestic abuse?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
why he got kicked out of the
allegedly.
NFL.
Allegedly.
But there was like
Fucker did
pictures
it.
and shit, so I don't know. All
He
right,
cream cunt punt that bitch.
moving on before Mike gets us all thrown in jail or I don't know. We're getting canceled before this thing even gets kicked off.
Can't
Yeah, before we
cancel us,
get off
it's
the
the
ground.
internet.
I want to go into. We talked about our favorite Meadowbrook moments and some things last week. This week, I want to talk about the best high school athletic performance that you've seen. It can be you. It can be something you were on the field for. It can just be something that you saw, but you had to be there for it. So does anybody want to go first on this one?
Does anybody want to take this one first?
I can go for. I have mine ready if you guys want to.
All right. Yep, spit it.
Okay, so I'm going to go tie here between our potential co-host Parker Miller and Alex Van Wagner, both in Lawns hockey. Parker, there was a game, I forgot who, but we won 1-0, and he must have had like 48 saves. Just killing it. Everybody, we didn't think shit of it though. Parker was saving at least 45 pucks a game, and nobody in the locker room really cared because to us, Parker was just being Parker. We didn't think it was like something crazy. We just knew we weren't that good. He was going to get a lot of shots, and Parker was doing his thing. But looking back at it now, this kid's insane. He's stopping like 45 to 60 shots a game, and we won 1-0. Like, that's insane for a high school goaltender to do at any level. And then two, or 1A, 1B, however you want to put it, Alex Van Wagner. It was a game against either Jeffers or Nagani. We lose 7-6 or some score. We lose by a goal or two, but Van Wagner has like 6 fucking goals. Like, he's just scoring at will. The kid's unreal. Every time he touches the puck, he scores a goal and just single-handedly keeps us in the game just for us to lose anyway. But the kid's unreal. I can't believe he even played Lance hockey with us because he's just on a completely other level. So those two are the best performances I've ever seen on a high school playing field, playing surface. Alex Van Wagner scoring every fucking goal we had and still losing the game, and then Parker Miller winning us the game 1-0 by stopping 40 something odd shots.
Yeah,
Jesus
Alex should have been
Christ.
playing with us.
I mean, yeah. We didn't deserve him. We
Mike,
definitely didn't deserve him.
hey man, it was
Shout
fun
out
to have him on the team though.
shout out to Van Dubs. I love you, buddy.
Yeah,
I
shout out
don't
Van
I don't know
Wagner.
I don't know what I would pick as like a
Mike, do you want me
favorite
to go so
moment.
you can keep thinking?
I'd say probably the '07 playoff game at the Barriga Field against Lake Linden because
Oh
the Meadowbrook
yeah,
Fill me
Field
in.
got
was
flooded.
Fill me in.
the
Got
Meadowbrook
flooded.
Field was flooded like it was a mud bowl. It was just a giant patch of mud.
Shithole
You
field to
couldn't
begin with.
you couldn't even put lines on it. So we had to go play um in Barriga at the Barriga Field and it was against Lake Linden. Mike Griffin
Give
had
some
a scoop.
backstory on which Lance team this was.
This is the '07 launch team.
The good one.
Yeah, the Westpac champs. Won the Westpac like first playoff bid in God knows however many years. And did Lance won that game, didn't they?
They beat Lake Linden, but then they lost to who was it? Crystal Falls, probably, or
Yeah,
I
Crystal
forget.
Falls. Crystal Falls for sure. I think that may have been like the state championship team for Crystal Falls as well. Maybe
Yeah,
not
it
though.
was. Yeah, yeah. No, it
Um
definitely was.
But before you go on with that story, on this podcast, we don't refer to it as the Berger Field. We refer to it as the Osterman Sports Complex.
the
Or
Osterman
just Barrier
Sports
football.
Complex.
You know,
Barrier
it's $1
football.
million facility. You know, we want to show it some respect. Nobody uses it anymore, and it's got like 6 foot tall grass. But you know, it's all good. We'll play in the shit Lance Field.
Volunteer
Barrier
field is
football.
actually pretty nice now.
It's nice.
So they won that game.
Yeah, they won that
What
game.
stands out to you about that?
Yeah, why was that your favorite, Mike?
Probably just because the drama behind it. Lance not being able to play on their home field, having to go play on their rivals' field. So I guess it's still, I mean, it's right next door. It's close to home.
Hold, Mike. I have a
What?
question. I wasn't in town. I think I don't remember where I was for this, but were you at the 2014? Remember, like when we were seniors. Remember how good that 8th grade class of athletes was? Were you at the game where they played Crystal Falls in the playoffs at
In 20
Lance?
in
And
2014?
like Viker had like that interception with no time left, and they drove the field and scored at the end.
Yeah, I did that game on the radio.
Yeah, I was just
Oh
randomly thinking
yeah,
about that game, dude. I remember listening to that on the radio. How crazy was that in
they have
person?
Beaker and Goldsworthy, bro,
Yeah.
just balling.
Yeah. That it
Everybody.
was wild. Like I feel sorry for the sound engineer back at the studio that probably had to just like crank down my mic when all that badass shit was happening.
So a little backstory. I vaguely remember listening to it, but Lance was down. They all Crystal Falls had to do was like run a couple plays, and they would have ran the clock out. But
Yep.
for some unknown reason, they threw the ball. Right,
Yep.
take it from there.
Uh, shit, man, that's 2014. I can't think of
He doesn't
like
remember that.
this is like 5+ years ago, dude. Do you not know how much shit has
Anyways,
happened?
they threw a jump ball. Viker intercepted it. I'm thinking, and then Lance drove the field with like 50 seconds left and beat him.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
See,
Bro.
you already know the end of the story.
Why are you asking Mike to tell
I don't
him?
know because
Mike, take it away.
because Mike was there.
Yeah, but I mean, he's announcing the game. He's got a lot of shit going on, you know.
I had to think
I
of
don't know why
player
I
of the
thought
game
of
at that point in time, which I'm sure I probably picked Jimmy Viker.
What's crazy is Jimmy Viker, that's a grown ass man. As a freshman, bro, when in my senior year, when we went to go play him, this guy's like fucking 6'5". He's taking the ball, high stepping on the sidelines, just running past people. He just didn't belong. Like he was like a Van Wagner on Lance hockey.
Yeah.
That team didn't deserve him, bro. He was like a legit top running back in the entire UP.
They were even
That's
better
how-
at basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how Deshaun Allen is probably going to be.
Who's that?
He's what would he be? Junior, a be a sophomore now, or a junior running back
For Lance?
for Lance? Yeah, just it'd be Ev Ekdal's nephew, or
Think
yeah,
about the
nephew.
caliber of the history of Lance running backs.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, in that '07 game you're talking about, Mike, the one at Berga, who
Yeah,
was on that team?
Mike
Where do you
Griffin.
start?
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea.
David.
McIntyre, Cameron,
Yep, Cameron Ayton,
Killer
Jaron
Cam.
McIntyre,
Matt
David
Sally,
Pinanim, Matt Cowling, Matt
Oh
Sally.
my god.
Morgan, Simonson.
Yeah, just
Morgan was
a
a
bunch
running
of.
back, correct?
No, he
No,
was
he's
a
a lineman.
guard.
Really? Who was the running
Yep.
back?
McIntyre and Perro
Oh, okay. Oh,
and
Jesus.
Cameron.
Bro, think about the caliber of running backs Lance has had.
Josh Cleary, Parker, McIntyre, Perro,
Viker.
Beaker.
Pero in
Yeah.
my generation is like he's like the OG Lance running back to me, which is crazy. And then him like to Parker to somebody like Viker. I don't know who was in the middle there. But just insane, just the caliber of athletes that they had.
Goldsworthy was kind of in the middle
Goldsworthy
there,
too.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's no middle. It went from Parker to Viker. Viker
Really?
came up
That's
as a
true.
freshman.
That's true.
I
Like
mean,
we were seniors,
yeah.
Viker was in 8th grade. And then we
Yeah, that's
graduated, and Viker immediately from freshman year.
I
made
mean,
a
we can't talk
giant
him up too
impact.
much. We shut him down my junior year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
6-0.
Viker
Double
wasn't on the
overtime.
team. Or yeah, oh 6-0. Yeah, I remember that game.
And
That was
also,
a very
Fighting for over.
we
disappointing
can't
game.
really talk about Parker too much either because of the big 52-6 game. I mean, is he really that good?
Honestly,
Yeah. How good is Parker Miller really?
seriously.
All right, I want to get my two out of the way
All
before
right.
I forget
Yep,
them.
go.
So I have a 1A and 1B. One of them is one I watched. One of them is one I was in. So my one that I watched was I don't know if you guys remember this, kids. Mike will. So anyways, we started when I was out after I graduated. Lance started playing Northland Pines. Remember that, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this
Austin
kid,
Ramish.
Austin Ramish, ran all over Cody Dingledy, like that team. What do you have, Mike? 5 touchdowns that game? Like
Something like
300
that.
rushing yards?
Dude, he spent 4 years in Wisconsin as a fullback.
Yeah. Okay, so this kid actually went on to play Division One football at Wisconsin. He actually had some cup of coffee in the NFL, if that tells you anything. And he was playing against our Lance kids, and I've never seen anything like it on the football field of a high school game. This kid looked so out of place. Like there's no
He was a
words I
man
can really
amongst
say.
boys. He was
There's
a
no
man
words.
amongst boys.
He ran over kids twice his size. He outran everybody. Like it looked like kids were standing still trying to chase this kid down. He was something else, man. It was
And
craziness.
I think he played hockey too, correct?
He
Yeah.
did.
He
He was
like a good
halfway decent.
because we played him in hockey too. But that's what
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
talking
you
about how
did.
nasty he was in football.
Yeah, this kid was something else at football, man. All state, everything. So that was my watching the best high school performance of watching. But as far as something I've been involved in, my senior year, we were playing a basketball game in Chassel, and
Oh
I
yeah.
don't remember the other kid's name. I know his first name's Joe. But Dylan Tollefson and this one kid from Chassel went back and forth this whole game. Dylan Tollefson scored 48 points, and this other kid from Chassel scored like 46. They went back and forth all game. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Neither of them missed for an entire the entire third quarter. Neither of these two missed a shot. And the coach, I remember, Ostermeyer was like, "Just give the ball to Tollefson until he misses a shot." So we just kept feeding him the ball, and he kept making every shot. It was just craziness.
That's insane in a high school game. In a
And
fucking
so
high
and
school game.
And the Chassel kid did the same thing, man. They kept feeding him the ball, and he didn't miss a shot either. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's actually nuts.
So
Yeah,
that's
Wait,
I
so
mine.
remember
Yeah,
who
hearing all
wins
about
that game? Did you guys win that game?
yeah, we won the game, but it was close.
I mean, it's a lot better if you win the game and have 48. You know,
Yeah, we won,
if you
but
have
it was
46
close.
in the L, that kid probably felt pretty shitty.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Shout out to that guy.
yeah.
I
He
have
went and played
way
for
too
Michigan
many
Tech for a
animals in
year.
this room right now. Fucker.
But yeah, that's mine. Austin Ramish and Dylan Tollefson. Shout out.
That's actually crazy. I'm so stuck on the caliber of Lance running backs. I mean, and it's
If
not
you
like
think,
you guys they didn't have great teams either. You know, you guys had some good
except for
teams.
that 1 year,
What year is that?
07, 08.
Okay, same one Mike was talking about, yeah.
Yeah. Well, think about it. That year they had McIntyre, Cameron, and Perro in the backfield.
So the year later Cameron comes to Berga.
Yep.
Yep.
where he still remains an absolute freak.
Yep. But that I think that was probably his peak though, because I don't know how like what he was into or like how serious like he was taking football. I don't know. You were there, Hemla. I mean, I don't know what you
I
know,
don't even
but I
remember.
think
I mean, I
but
was in 8th grade at that point when he came over, so.
but that year when he played for Lons, I feel like that was probably his like he might even say it was probably his
Oh,
best
I'm
year of
sure,
football.
because I don't think Bergo was any good in '08
Right. I don't know how
or
much
the
help
year
they gave him
after,
either. But yeah.
That's crazy. I need Parker Miller on this podcast to give us his insight. I need his best Meadowbrook memory. So Parker Miller, we miss you, buddy.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Who is on kind of the same note? Who's the best high school? And it could probably be the same people. Who's the best high school athlete you've ever been around? Like not
You
just
said
like seeing
athlete?
like you could say Ramesh, but you just saw him. Who's like the best athlete from high school that you've known?
Ooh,
Hmm.
man. That might be a good question for next. I might have to think about that. Does
I don't
anybody
know,
have anything off the top of their
I
head?
mean, mine's
maybe
just
Tyler Lloyd.
wait. What did he do? I'm not aware.
Basketball?
Basketball and football.
He was just nuts.
Yeah, he was on when Lance built that new gym. Lance had a boys basketball team that was just fucking insane. Like the gym was packed every single game and just so loud. Um, I don't think they
Yeah,
ended up
that was a
doing
good team.
anything spectacular in the
They went
postseason,
to
but
Michigan Tech and lost to uh who was it? They lost to a team that wore red and white. It wasn't Marquette though.
Menominee maybe?
No, what's the town right before Marquette? Westwood.
Nagani? Oh, Westwood.
Oh, Westwood. Yeah, they lost to
Yeah,
Westwood in
that
the
would make
regionals.
sense. That was all the way back in like 2000.
Yeah, that was
I
yeah.
was
I'm surprised I remember that.
I was in 3rd grade.
What the fuck? Justin going
Yeah.
How about you,
way back
Emma?
on that one. I mean, mine's just obviously has to be Van Wagner. I don't want to ride Van Wagner's dick all day here, but just
Oh, I got mine.
the things I saw playing with him, bro. He was just everywhere. It wasn't even fair for him to be on our team in high school hockey. So again, shout out to Van Wagner. I'm done riding this kid's dick.
I got mine. I just thought of it.
All right, who is it?
I don't know if okay. He's probably not. I could probably think of like better like, but Joe Padavisti.
Ah
Pato?
man, we got to
Yeah.
touch on this, man.
We could save it for another
I
week.
got
But
I got tears in my eyes already.
though that Berga team, watching what a kid that small did to kids twice his size. Oh my god.
I don't even know how young I
Oh,
was at that point, but in my eyes, he was my fucking hero.
I was a
That
Lance kid and he was my hero.
that entire team, bro. I literally remember going to the game. I don't remember the score, who they were playing, anything. I just loved watching them. Go home immediately after that. Hop on Madden 03. I had a pamphlet from the game. I made that entire team in Madden 03 and just played with him, bro. Pato, I had Craig Koski and Patavis. Like that, those guys are like my heroes
Van
growing up.
Giddings.
Just insane, bro.
Do you think those guys know how much like kids our
No
age looked
idea.
up to them?
No shot. I mean, maybe now I'm just
Like
riding cock
Mike,
all day here.
do you think like that 07-08 team knows how much we looked up to those guys?
I wasn't in school for that year. I went to a
Oh,
different
that's right.
school.
That's right. I forgot.
But still,
Anyways,
just in general, in high school, do you realize like as if you're that person or you're in that scenario, do you realize how much like you mean to these younger kids? I don't think not in
you're,
high school, no shot.
Probably
yeah,
just like the community as a whole. Like high school sports always brings a community together type of deal, you know?
for sure.
Exactly. And not that like we had like any athletes that were changing lives in, in my football playing days, but as a junior when we go to the playoffs, that's a big deal for a small school to go to the playoffs. Nobody's thinking even one time about what it means to younger kids in the elementary school or junior high. Nobody's thinking about that. But
True, but
it
it
makes
makes
a
a big
difference.
difference
Oh,
though.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's why like looking at Patavisti, I don't even know, maybe they couldn't have won a game that year. I would have no idea. He was still my fucking hero.
Just because of how he played,
Yeah,
yeah.
literally.
No, those were part of that was like the years where it was back and forth, always losing to
Yep.
Crystal Falls.
Yeah, one of us would lose to Crystal Falls in the playoffs every year.
And how crazy is that? A program like that, a dominant program in the UP, I'm pretty sure they're playing like what is it, 8-man
Oh, we could,
football now?
yeah, we
Yeah.
could talk about them for a whole episode. Jesus
That's
Christ,
insane to me. Like they were going to states, it seemed like every year.
they're a football factory. They were
But
Man,
see, I don't even know how
if
that
you want
program's doing now.
if you want to
nothing.
play 8-man football, you might as well just put your kids out on a swing set and a merry-go-round and tell them it's time for recess. Like that
I
ain't
don't like that,
football.
man. Co-op with a different school if you can't make the kids.
But how does a
Exactly.
football school like that not have kids to play football?
It's just
Think
the
of the
dwindling number of people,
legacy.
man.
I know, but think of the legacy. Even if it's a numbers thing, there's kids that are on the edge of playing football and don't. The legacy of football in that school, I just don't know how you let that die. I get it. Maybe there's no jobs in the area. People are whatever it is. It just sucks to see because same thing could be said for Berga, but it's Crystal Falls.
The media probably plays a big part of it too with the whole concussion issue within the past 5 years.
I
Lot of
I get
hovering
it,
parents
man,
getting
but
freaked out
small
about it.
town Michigan, like you're a powerhouse squad going to states almost every year. Sure, you may not be winning them, but that's a big deal for a small school in the UP.
I mean, not everybody can be Tim McGraw from Friday Night Lights.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean?
So I think
I was
that's
a state champ. You're gonna be a state champ.
I think about that legacy though, man. Like I feel that way about Berga, and I didn't even win shit there, but I want to go back to my alma mater and just see a football game. And if you're Crystal Falls and you're a state championship caliber team, you can't go watch a good football game. I mean, maybe it's good, maybe 8-man's good or whatever, but it's just not the same.
I think out of the entire UP, there's like 32 like actual football teams, not 8-man. I think that's it out of the entire UP.
It's
The rest is
just on a
the
small
rest
scale,
is 8-man.
it's a dying sport on a small scale.
And guess how many are in the Westpac?
I have no
I
idea.
want to say like half. There's so many schools in the Westpac, it's insane. Basically, the whole western end of the UP is kind of kept 11-man football.
I
But
think we lost Justin here, so this might be a good spot to wrap it up. Um, I just want to say shout out to everybody who reached out. I had a handful of people reach out on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, all that. We all appreciate the love, man. For us to sit here and talk for an hour, you're kind of putting yourself out there. You don't know what kind of response you're going to get. So all the positive messages I got, and I shared it with the boys too. So it just feels really good, man. And we're going to keep pumping these out, whether people like it or not. So it just felt really good that people had our backs on this thing. And again, shout out to Zach Savala, his wife, and their family. If you guys have any spare money that you'd like to donate, the GoFundMe will be linked in the descriptions. It could really help them out. Again, she's pregnant, has an illness that is causing her to lose weight and not hold nutrition down. They've been traveling all over the state. I don't know if they've left Michigan to seek other help, but either way, they've been traveling all over trying to get this thing fixed, and just nothing happening about that right now. So if you have any money you can donate, help them out. Love you, Zach. We all hope for the best on this side. So
yeah, another big shout out to just I had people reaching out to me too. So I'm I think we all are personally all open to suggestions and ideas. So if there's something that you think that you want to hear our opinions on or something that we should touch on, just DM us and then
yeah, or
we can try to.
feel free to leave a comment on the YouTube videos and stuff. Anywhere you can
Yeah,
get a hold of
exactly.
us. Tell us any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions you have. Justin just texted me, said his computer died. He said shout out to you guys for the love as well. We all really appreciate it, and we'll be back next week. We record on Mondays, put it out on Tuesdays. It's going to be a weekly thing here, so get used to it, and we'll see you next week.